I should have known something was off when Scarlett insisted on hosting the game night. She was never one for entertaining, but she seemed weirdly adamant about it. "It'll be fun," she said with that sly smile of hers. "We haven't had everyone over in ages." Little did I know how prophetic those words would turn out to be. Our friends started trickling in around 7 p.m. Greg and Allison, Tyler and Haley, and finally, Mike and Sarah. The usual crew. We cracked open a few bottles of wine and got the night started with some light appetizers and catch-up chatter. "So, what's on the agenda for tonight?" Greg asked, leaning back on the couch with his glass of Cabernet. Scarlett grinned mischievously. "I thought we could play a little game." That's when she pulled out the "Never Have I Ever" cards. I should have protested right then and there, but I didn't want to be a buzzkill. Besides, how bad could it be? We were all friends, right? Wrong. The first few rounds were harmless enough, admitting to silly things like forgetting to signal while driving or stealing towels from a hotel. But then Scarlett drew the card that would change everything. "Never have I ever cheated on my spouse." The room went silent as she brought the glass to her lips and took a sip, her eyes twinkling with a strange mix of defiance and guilt. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. "Babe, what the hell?" I forced out a laugh, trying to brush it off. "You're joking, right?" Scarlett just shrugged, hiccuping a little from the alcohol. "Oops, I must have forgotten about that one." The others exchanged awkward glances, sensing the sudden tension in the room. Greg tried to lighten the mood with a lame joke, but it fell flat. The game mercifully ended soon after, and our friends made their excuses to leave early. Once they were gone, I rounded on Scarlett, my heart pounding with a mix of anger and dread. "What the fuck was that about?" She waved me off, swaying a little as she stumbled towards the bedroom. "I was just kidding, Seb. You know how much I love yanking your chain." But I didn't know that not anymore. A seed of doubt had been planted, and it was only going to grow. The next morning, I watched Scarlett groan and clutch her head as she emerged from the bedroom, clearly hungover. Part of me wanted to let it go, to believe her flimsy excuse from the night before. But I knew I had to confront her. "About last night," I began, my mouth dry. "Were you serious? Have you been with someone else?" She leveled me with a glare, her eyes bloodshot but defiant. "Are you kidding me right now? After all these years, you're going to start doubting me over one stupid game?" I opened my mouth to protest, but she cut me off with a dismissive wave of her hand. "Save it, Sebastian. You're just being paranoid. I was drunk and being an idiot, that's all. End of story." Maybe she was right. Maybe I was overreacting. But something thick and sour had lodged itself in my gut, and it refused to go away. Over the next few weeks, I started noticing things I hadn't paid attention to before: the late nights at the office, the hushed phone calls, the way Scarlett seemed to grow more distant and evasive. I tried to shake it off, to be the trusting husband she expected me to be. But the seed of doubt had taken root, and it was growing stronger every day. One evening, after another of Scarlett's long days at work, I heard the shower kick on upstairs. An idea struck me, one that made me sick to my stomach, but one I couldn't ignore. With shaking hands, I picked up Scarlett's phone from the nightstand and punched in her passcode, her birthday, the one she never bothered to change. The phone unlocked, and before I could second-guess myself, I tapped on the messaging app. My heart turned to lead as I scrolled through the conversation thread between Scarlett and some guy named Austin. The messages were far from professional: flirtatious banter, suggestive comments, and even a few poorly concealed plans to meet up. I felt the air leave my lungs in a forceful whoosh. All this time, she'd been lying to me, cheating on me, betraying me in the worst possible way. Tears of rage and heartbreak stung my eyes as I rapidly took screenshots of the damning exchanges, my hands trembling violently. I needed proof of what was happening right under my nose. As the shower water continued to run upstairs, I sat on the edge of our bed, numb with shock and disbelief. The woman I loved, the woman I had devoted a decade of my life to, had shattered my trust into a million pieces. And in that moment, I knew there was no going back. The trust that had once been the bedrock of our marriage was shattered beyond repair. As the shower water continued to run upstairs, I made a decision. one that would change the course of our lives forever. With a few taps on Scarlett's phone, I logged into her social media accounts, my jaw clenched with grim determination. If she wanted to play dirty, I would expose her deceit for the world to see. I posted the incriminating screenshots of her conversations with Austin, making sure to tag her friends, family, and colleagues. With each upload, I felt a twisted sense of satisfaction, like I was finally taking back some semblance of control. It didn't take long for the reactions to start pouring in, a steady stream of shock, disbelief, and condemnation. My phone began to buzz incessantly with calls and messages from our circle, all of them demanding answers. When Scarlett finally emerged from the bathroom, toweling off her damp hair, she was greeted by the cacophony of her buzzing phone. A look of confusion passed over her face as she checked the influx of notifications. Then, like a deer caught in the headlights, she froze, her eyes growing wide with dawning horror as she realized what I had done. "Sebastian," she whispered, her voice trembling. "What have you done?" I met her gaze with steely resolve, the hurt and anger burning like acid in my veins. "I exposed your lies, Scarlett. Your dirty little secret is out in the open now." She shook her head slowly, tears welling up in her eyes. "How could you do this? This is going to ruin us." A mirthless laugh escaped my lips. "Us? There is no us anymore, Scarlett. Not after what you did." And with that, the floodgates opened. She begged, she pleaded, she bargained, anything to try and salvage the tattered remains of our marriage. But I was unmoved, a man possessed by a single, burning purpose. "I want a divorce," I stated flatly, cutting through her frantic pleas like a knife. "This is over." The argument escalated from there, with Scarlett's sobs dissolving into anguished cries and recriminations. But I had made up my mind. There was no going back, no second chances. The woman I had loved was a stranger to me now, and I wanted her out of my life for good. We decided to separate that very night, with me moving into a spare room until the divorce proceedings could be finalized. As Scarlett stormed out, suitcase in hand, she turned to me with a look of pure venom. "You'll regret this, Sebastian. You have no idea what you've done." But I knew exactly what I had done. I had taken back my dignity, my self-respect, and as painful as it was, I knew it was the right thing to do. The divorce itself was a brutal, drawn-out affair, with both of us slinging mud and making outrageous demands. In the end, I lost half of my assets and a sizable chunk of my savings, but it was a small price to pay for my freedom. However, I wasn't content to just walk away and lick my wounds. No, I wanted to make sure Scarlett and her sleazy boyfriend paid the full price for their betrayal. I reached out to their boss at the marketing firm, providing him with the evidence of their affair and unethical behavior. Unsurprisingly, he was appalled by the situation and took immediate action, firing both Scarlett and Austin on the spot. The news spread like wildfire through their workplace, with whispers and pointed stares trailing them wherever they went. To add insult to injury, I even shared the social media posts detailing Scarlett's infidelity with Austin's poor, unsuspecting wife, a woman named Kelly. Within days, Kelly had filed for divorce as well, leaving Austin just as disgraced and alone as my ex-wife. As the dust settled and the legal proceedings drew to a close, I couldn't help but feel a strange sense of vindication. Yes, the road ahead would be difficult, but at least I could start over with a clean slate, free from the lies and betrayal that had nearly broken me. This is where our story comes to an end. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for your precious time. If you enjoyed this story, then please make sure you subscribe to this channel. That would help me a lot. Click on the video you see on the screen, and I will see you there.